Hi, I'm Alex, and this is Audrey. This is my mentor from Seed. She's the executive director, and like I said, she's also my mentor. She's been working with me to work on the clinical portion. So she has reviewed the lesson plan and also observed the baseline lesson.
Okay, hello Alex. So I watched your class and there are several questions I want to ask.
Several.
Okay, the first one, how do you feel about lesson? How do you feel about?
Overall, when it finished, I felt pretty good, to be honest. I thought that it went well. It was better than previous lessons, if I'm very honest, because the class has been a little bit of a struggle for me because there's been a lot of lateness. The class wasn't really clicking. The dynamic was off, and that made it hard to teach. But we did, because this lesson was being recorded, we spoke with the team to make sure that everyone came on time.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from those administrative things, I think the learning in the class went really well. I thought it was a good lesson to record because we did some good, some nice activities at the beginning where there was a lot of review. I did some formative assessment, and then I introduced some of the content from the lesson that we've been studying, and then we did a really, I thought, fun group activity to wrap it all up, and everyone participated, so I thought it was okay.
Okay. After we looked at your lesson plan before the class, what have you changed afterwards for the class, and how did it go?
So it was more about procedural things. So I'm quite comfortable with this class, and that may be a problem. Even if we have a good relationship, it's I think the online. It's challenge online. So you would recommend that I make it a little more stricter. What I mean by stricter is that treat it like a new class. That I set the expectations from the beginning, set the rules, show my objectives, and then have a wrap up at the end to just review what we learned. Because I think I got in a bad habit of just starting the class, going through it, and then that's that. But with this particular class, I did go back to some of based on that lesson plan feedback, to add setting those expectations, doing the rules, setting the objectives, and then getting into it. And I think that really made a difference in how the students responded from the beginning. Because I think starting strong is really important online. It can affect the pace and how the lesson flows, and it's important for online, I think.
Okay. So what were the objectives are? Do you think you've met all the objectives?
The objectives, they were to, first we were going to do some review. That was an objective, that we would review some of the content from Unit 5, reintroduce some of the new content that we've been studying, which is about inventions. And then, so those were achieved, they were achieved by a couple different strategies that I used in class, using different tools. The main objective, though, was to focus on that concept of if you have a problem, you need a solution. And with this particular unit, the solution is an invention. You invent something to solve your problem. And that was demonstrated through group work where the students made their own inventions to solve a problem that they came up with by themselves. And I think it would have been a really nice offline class, a really nice offline activity, but I think it went well online. And I think it went well because how I grouped the students. So I used their strengths, so the weaker students were with some students that could help, and then the new student Owen was with the very strong student Candace, and so I think the thinking going into the grouping helped with the achieving the goal, the aim.
Okay, I did notice that there is a student called Owen. I think he's a bit lost in the class. Did you think he's able to keep up with the class and he can follow the class?
Yeah, and you know, it was part of my thinking before the class, which I didn't do so well, is that he is new. I know Owen, I've worked with him for a while, but he wasn't in this class before, but now he is in this class. And I could have paid more attention to him, and I think my intention was to allow him to enter slowly, so he's more comfortable in the class, and maybe that slow approach seemed like I was neglecting him, or I wasn't pushing him a little bit more, which will be, I'll change that moving forward. I think he can do more. I just need to give him more attention.
Okay. And another little thing is, I feel like, you know, like we ask a student a question like, what do you want to be and why? So I think it's quite normal that for students, they probably just speak very few words, like quickly describe like, oh, why? Because it's interesting.
Yeah.
So we always suggest teacher that to pump more content from the student, and to help them to express themselves more. So have you considered about that?
Yes, and that's something I really always talk about. At least like, we want more than just one word answers, yes, no, or you know, yes, I'm interested. We want more when I ask why.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, after looking at the lesson myself, I noticed that as well. It's like in an online class, pace is so important. So you want to get through everything, and it's, if you slow down, then it can really disrupt the pace of the class, which can disrupt the interest. So my response, I guess, is that I agree that we need to do more. I think it's going to come down to how I can keep it engaging for students so that they can produce a lot more, but I could also balance it that the class can keep going at a good pace where people stay interested, or students stay interested. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's okay for time. I think we can finish.
Okay.
I think we spoke enough about this class. I think it was all right. I think there are areas to improve too. So thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.